I hope you all don't mind if I just sew for a few moments while we're getting everyone settled in today. I just needed some sewing time. As much as I've enjoyed the holidays, I really feel like it's time to do some just regular good old sewing. And if you've been following this project the last several months, this is the easiest English paper piecing by hand project you'll ever see because I've learned how to do it all by machine. Got a couple wonderful videos for you all out there. And I am within a few hexagons of being finished. I think I've got about almost 500 hexagons in this project, if I remember the count, and I've been having so much fun. And I want to teach you a little bit more about how I've learned to use a super cool little foot. I don't know if you're all in the mood for a sewing demonstration or not, but nonetheless, maybe we'll get to that by the end of the video. Like I said, wanted to give everybody just a moment or two to kind of settle in. I'm really excited to see everyone's out there chatting amongst yourselves. I need to find my water glass before I say hello officially. Let's do one more of these little seams here. Back stitch, right, look at that, right along the edge. Isn't that cool? Just like that. Cut that thread, and we're just going to leave that there for now. Like I said, big glass of water. Hello, everybody. It is Fabulous Friday, Fun Day Live. I am your host from Stitchin Heaven. My name is Rob Appell. I'm a quilt maker out in Texas, and I am very, very blessed to see all of you on the other side of the camera and the screen. And I'm seeing everybody is already communicating with each other. Wonderful. Thank you, friends, for being out there. I hope you've all had a wonderful holiday. As I mentioned on Wednesday and last Friday, I am a Christmas celebrator, and that's what my family was doing yesterday, and I'll talk a little bit about that as we dive into the announcements today. Let's just kind of get going here. Oh, and if you're just logging in and you're tuning in, I have some things we do need to discuss about the New Year's Day mystery quilt along coming up next week. I want to make sure I answer a couple of the questions without answering any of the questions, of course, because it's a mystery. But anyways, we're going to get there. Let's go ahead and let everybody know. Yes, we have our 67. We hit it, guys. We did. Thank you. But now we're not stopping until we get the big silver belt buckle, right? I mean, it is Texas. So we need to get to 100,000, please, sooner than later. Of course, that's awesome. But yeah, last week I asked you to help me get to 67,000 subscribers, and we did it with grace. That was awesome. Thank you very much. We also have a Facebook private group, and again, this is out of date. I think we have almost 3,000 members out there, and was really excited to see everybody and participating. And if you did catch the slideshow on Wednesday, a lot of times folks are sending me awesome photos of the projects, the quilts, the sewing things they're working on and related to things we've done together here on this channel. And so I did. It was really fun to go through my quick library and find so many of all of your photos. I certainly hoped you enjoyed them. I'm seeing all of you congratulating each other in the chat there. That's really fun to see. And yeah, it was really great to kind of do that year in review. I thought it was going to be a much larger struggle to find all of the photographs. I realized, and of course I hadn't planned on it. Now this year, now I want to plan on it for next year. So I'll make us a folder so it's real easy to find. So yes, I will encourage you all to keep sending in your photographs of your quilts or your sewing related projects. Of course, all the better if you can get a pet in the photo of the quilt. If it's actually harder to get the photo without the pet for most of us, but nonetheless, I really enjoy sending those, seeing those. So you may send them to Rob. Where's my email address? Have I lost it altogether? Yeah, there's a, well, you can send it to info. That won't do us any good. Where did I, oh, I must have deleted my email address. Stranger things have happened. Rob@stitchinheaven.com will land right on my computer, and I'd love to see those photos, folks. And like I said, it was a really fun slideshow. Thank you for participating in all of that. I'm hearing somebody say my mic is low. I am not going to fall for that trick because every time I adjust it, things go south unless everybody tells me that. Linda, turn up your volume because usually I don't have quiet, but I have loud microphone problems. So anyways, if everyone else is feeling it slow, then I will adjust the volume. But if it's just you, Linda, please don't think I'm picking on you. But usually microphone problems are solved on this side. I should have said that. Murphy, welcome Murphy's Law, right? Exactly. All right, hey, let's dive into the show. I really want to remind everybody, Isacord thread right now on stitchinheaven.com is get a free spool when you buy two while supplies last. Load up on your colors, have a great old time, go crazy. You don't have to limit yourself to just 3 spools. That's going to be awesome. And as I was starting to say, as I kind of review my notes here and everything, I will mention in a little bit more about the Golden Ticket event coming up, more about some of our retreats coming up, more about the mystery quilt coming up, and of course, because it was kind of a short work week for me, I don't have a ton of different things to discuss about video and work because, excuse me, I was just having lunch as well. I think I shot carrots across the room. That wascally rabbit. So anyways, as a quick reminder, yes, last week on the slide was a slideshow of all of your wonderful quilts and projects out there. Next week is New Year's Day. And if all goes well, we're going to have a live show New Year's Day, Tiffany Hayes and myself teaching a mystery quilt. It'll take us about 5 hours. Most of you on today's video, my assumption is you know what's going on and you're following along. But as we get into the grateful list, there's going to be a public service announcement that I want to try to make. So let's just dive into that grateful list now, folks, because it's always important to be grateful. And yes, I guess I snuck an extra one in on all of you. I had a 5th item. I was grateful for a short work week this week where I really enjoyed the holiday. And that is it right there. Number 1, holiday with the family. Like I said, we are Christmas celebrators and we had a blast celebrating Jesus's birthday. Super fun. Here's a little bit of us around the tree in the crazy morning. This must have been roughly 6 a.m. Of course, we do have a fun tradition of jumping in the hot tub and then we do a polar plunge. So the pool right now is 54 degrees. We tested it, but several of us sat in there for 3 to 5 minutes trying to ice bath ourselves. Here is the whole family as we often try to do a fun group photo at sunset on Christmas, including our dogs. Of course, the dogs got new matching jackets, and that was really good. For those of you who have been concerned about my dog's health, Winston, he is feeling much better. He had a lot of dental work done, and he is now eating well and running around. And even though he is 14 and mostly blind and deaf, he had the Christmas of, well, I want to say he had the best Christmas ever, but when you look at the grandmothers, here, we do a Christmas Olympics also, and this was part of the holiday decorating contest that we had, and that is my mom and my wife's mom together. And what a blast it was. So yes, our holidays were awesome, and it's fun because we have a lot of these great traditions, and maybe I'll just throw some of those out there for all of you who maybe are hoping for maybe a change in your holiday traditions or looking for other things that are fun holiday traditions. This one started about 12 years ago. Grandma Connie suggested we don't do gifts for everybody, but we do a single secret Santa gift. So there's 10 of us that participate. Next year, once my son's married, there will be 11 of us, and we draw a name each year on November 1st, and we have basically 2 months to come up with the ultimate Christmas present for that person, and that's what we put all of our focus and all of our energy into because we all have more. It's really hard to buy for our family because we all have so much. We are so overblessed in that department. So that was really great. We always watch holiday movies together. We usually do Elf and Christmas Vacation. This year, of course, we did Christmas Vacation early. We skipped Elf. We skipped Home Alone, which is another great holiday choice, but we did more of the rom-coms. We did The Holiday, and we did, and I can't believe I had never seen it. What was it called? Crazy Stupid Love, and I thought it was adorable. So some fun holiday movie times. We did Pictionary, and we have started a couple years ago the Christmas Olympics. And my daughter and Auntie Margaret put together a list of activities that have all different point values. We have a Team Santa and we have a Team Elf. And it is generally each like major family component has been split up. So my wife and I are on different teams. My son and daughter are on different teams. My mom and dad are on different teams. And so it's really fun this way as we compete. And we had so much fun that we extended it into an additional Pictionary game. And boy, have we just been laughing and celebrating together. So fun, so fun, so fun. Really had a great time. At any rate, let's get back to the holiday list or the grateful list. The Doggy Pals, they get together once a year, so you got to see that already there. Number 2 was the Doggy Pals and their wonderful holiday sweaters. Loving that. Now, number 3 on the grateful list is next level crafts. So this year I drew for my son, I drew my son as the Secret Santa. So what you see there is a fairly decent 3D printer, and that was his first, and that is the trophy that is now awarded to the Santa team, or excuse me, to the Christmas Olympics team that wins there. So that was our first print, very successful. And folks, this 3D printing is really, really cool. If you haven't investigated it, like laser cutting and etching, it's just another amazing tool set, craft set technology that you can do so many of the things we love on the daily, but with these cool technology. So basically it's like an embroidery machine that runs a hot glue gun, meaning it's going to run on an XY coordinate and lay down plastic. So we made already this cool little hard box. These are my little tattooing machines. Oh, that's right, I forget I have the overhead camera. So we can go to overhead camera. So yeah, I now have a mini Pelican case. Look at how tiny and small that is, right? For 2 tattoo machines and 4 batteries. Also pretty cool how compact tattoo machines are nowadays. And it has a little snap down lid. I put some foam in there. This is going to be terrific, right? Isn't that cool? So that was pretty awesome on the next level crafts, but I love to sneak in my tattoo photos, folks. So during the week, I got to color in a Kermit the Frog that was previously placed. And there is the end result. Of course, green is hard to photograph with the blood that comes through at the end. So instead, I thought I'd get a fresh picture of the tattoo of mine that was worked on last week. And I've been having a blast. That's the up close and personal of what you often see here. And we'll tell the full story of this tattoo when it is all finished up. And I can do a good photo video about it. But as I often mention every year, in February, we will discuss the fact that I am a recovering alcoholic. February will be 13 years. One of the things I have found so desperately important to my mental and physical health is keeping these hands really busy. So all kinds of different projects that I love to do and work on. And so that's one of the things like tattooing or crafting or making stuff, quilting, knitting is also super, super important to me, and why I enjoy getting to share all of that out there with all of you. So at any rate, the tattooing is one of those other things, but I'd like to show you when it's all done, and we're putting a video together about that for everybody. So anyways, back to the grateful list. Here we go, folks. There it is. And it's a redo from last week, a recap if I may, but it is. Our New Year's quilt along is next week. This is going to be awesome. To my understanding, this is the 5th annual, although this is only my 3rd to participate. Tiffany Hayes and myself have been teaching it together, and yes, she will absolutely be joining me on it's January 1st, so I believe that is Wednesday. It is definitely the 1st. It is not New Year's Eve. We'll be on Central Time. I believe it starts at 9 in the morning. All of the information is online. So please go to stitchinheaven.com, and there you can register. This is what that page looks like. Where it says register for free, it's going to ask you for your email address. This is where the information needs to come in, and I would like you to all listen very closely, because it is a mystery quilt and it is a free sew along. The video class and all of the effort we put into it, and we've been putting a lot of effort into it the last couple of years to try to get this really polished and honed into an awesome event for everybody. It's all free. So with your email address, you should receive both a soup recipe and a cutting list. Now that cutting list is for those of you who want to work out of your stash. Those of you who want to go to your drawer or go to your bins and just make a quilt. It's a mystery quilt that will be awesome based on your colorways, and we have broken those down. And when it says Team Rob or Team Tiffany, originally that was based on the joke that was made about Rob being a slob when it comes to quilting, or a little bit more carefree, and Tiffany being very precise. But then last year we chose to do different colorways, and so now I always do a red, white, and blue, or a patriotic themed colorway, because I can tell you, here's one of the answers that is going around as a question in our Facebook group. The quilt is large enough to be used as a donational quilt for the Wounded Warriors, the Quilts of Valor, any of those veterans-based quilting service-based projects out there. We can ensure you that your finished quilt, if you're using red, white, and blue fabrics, will be appropriate for that, as long as you're not using like the fireworks or some of the fabrics that they've asked us to not use in our veterans projects. Okay? So what is the finished size? It's a mystery, and mostly because I don't remember. Last year, I think, was about 72 by 60 or so. I think that's about the requirements for the Quilts of Valor program. So I'm going to say it's going to be about that size, but don't quote me because I can't remember, but it will definitely be a good size quilt. Let's say we're going to use my buddy Andrew saying, nose to toes, folks, nose to toes. We want to be well loved and dressed in these quilts. Got it? Okay, so then the other thing that I want to point out is we gave cutting instructions months ago online, but when you sign up for an email address, your spam filter might kick it into spam. So those are also on our Facebook group up in the files section. You can download them, but a lot of you look at Facebook on your cell phones, right? So I suggest you get on Facebook on your computer or something that's connected to your printer so that you can print out your cutting instructions. It is too late to order and receive a pre-cut kit. The kits that we made last year and this year have pre-cut pieces in them. And the pre-cut pieces, folks, are going to have different shapes and sizes than the pieces that we've asked you to put in your stash cutting instructions. And the reason that is we're going to teach a couple of different methods that are basically patchwork and trim style methods for the best accuracy with a large group of people. However, if you'll notice here, these are several parts that have come out of my pre-cut kit. Please allow me to demonstrate. Some of these parts with their engineered corners might, and let me use this word here, folks, mystery, mystery, mystery. Those of you who were trying to figure this out are probably heading in the wrong direction because we knew what you would try to do. It's a mystery. This is the fun of it. If you don't like mysteries, stay tuned. I've got more information. But look at this, okay? Mystery. This piece in the pre-cut kit fits here. Oh, it also fits right there, okay? It also could fit here and again right here. And yet these are all different pieces, and a lot of these pieces will be addressed with a snowballing technique. That's why these corners might be missing, and therefore it requires different size fabrics. Folks, please just follow the instructions provided by your educators, myself and Tiffany Hayes. She has written and I have tested backwards and forwards all of this information, and if you're working from your stash, just cut what is on the cutting instructions. There's a homework assignment where you're marking on 6-inch squares, double diagonal lines. I strongly recommend you do that. But again, folks, it's going to work out great. For those of you who are asking about AccuQuilt, we are not an AccuQuilt dealer at Stitchin Heaven. Therefore, we don't have all of the information at our fingertips at all times. You're right, that would have been awesome. I apologize we didn't offer AccuQuilt cutting information. I will add that to our meeting notes following the New Year's Day sew along so that we can discuss it for next year. I don't want to say too much because I don't want to send you all in the wrong directions, so I'm sorry. AccuQuilt cutters, that's one of those specialty tools, so we were making this for, there's going to be thousands of people doing this together, folks. Thousands and thousands. So we had to make it as simple and easy to understand as possible. And most of the confusion, and I don't want to sound rude, most of the confusion is happening on the Facebook group where you folks are sharing information that doesn't correspond to other people's information. The information from a pre-cut kit has nothing to do with the information from the cutting instructions from your stash. I hope that makes sense, and I hope I'm not being impolite, but folks, I see a lot of folks that are getting concerned when they shouldn't be. Okay, so I'm hoping you're watching. I'm hoping you're listening. It's going to be a hoot. It's going to be a blast, but just follow the instructions provided by Stitchin Heaven, Tiffany Hayes, and yours truly right here. Okay, let's move on. Wait, I've got this little video in case you missed it. Hey folks, Rob Appell,
Tiffany Hayes,
and we are here to remind you about our wonderful New Year's Day mystery quilt along. Day. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
have Fabulous Mystery Quilt Along on YouTube. It's free. We just need your email address. We'll have a soup recipe. There's a supply list. We're so excited to have you all join us along. I'm a little tired after Expo, but I think I'll be caught up in a few weeks. What about you?
I think so too. I got to get through, I got to get through next week. Recover next week, and then party on New Year's.
Party on New Year's. Party on New Year's. All right, so as you can see, we're pretty pumped up, and I took a moment to check some of the comments, and so thank you folks for following up. Patty, I saw your comment, and Deborah, what do you think? Okay, now look, folks, this is round 2. I'm gonna be honest, here's my sock. So, excuse me, I'm not knitting socks yet. I'm only knitting a sock, singular. So my ribbing was pretty terrible, and it's not much better now, but it was so bad to begin with, I decided to take it out and start fresh. So I did this during those movies we were talking about watching earlier, and I'm pretty excited. So the goal is to get this at least twice as long before I arrive in Texas on Monday, so that my knitting teacher Amy can teach me how to make the heels, and then I'll keep knitting hopefully throughout the rest of the foot and get the toe done while I'm there. So I'm really excited. It's been super fun. And one of the things I guess I love about knitting, unlike tattooing, is it's really easy to start over if you don't like how it's coming along. So that's going to be awesome. Now, with the Mystery Sew Along, folks, some of the things I was starting to mention also is we have incredible retreats that happen in Texas. So here's a couple of the ones we're highlighting right now on our stitchinheaven.com. Both Nancy Mahoney coming up in the spring green, and of course Tina Louders is going to be doing an incredible cabaret, which is a Quilt Works retreat, which is just going to be super awesome. I'm also, as I mentioned, doing a retreat in August. That is online already, and it's going to be the follow-up to the mystery, excuse me, it's going to be the follow-up to our April virtual quilt along. So earlier I was saying those of you who do not care for mystery quilts, we have heard you also. And so in April, I'm going to do a virtual sew along where you know the pattern in advance and you know everything you need to know in advance. And we're just going to sit together and sew together all day. And we will have kits available for those of you who want to make exactly what I'm doing. But the rest of you who want to work out of your stash, for me and my bosses, we have tried to build a wonderful community where we can sew together even if we're not actually in the same room. And it's something I love doing, and I'm blessed to get to do for all of you. Thank you, Deb and Clay and Mark and all of you folks for signing me a paycheck that allows me to do this. So at any rate, here's what's coming up in April. Hello, quilters. It is I, Rob Appell. I am here to invite you all to join me for a virtual quilting experience on YouTube. Together, we can make in a single day this glowing checkered star quilt. If you don't want to work from your stash, don't fret. We have wonderful quilts pre-cut and available for you. Better than that, there will be golden tickets in some of those kits. That's right, 5 golden tickets will be awarded to 5 lucky winners. Those lucky winners will have their registrations paid for the wacky and wonderful quilting retreat in Quitman, Texas. That will happen August 6th through 10th, 2025. Nope, I hit the wrong button. Oh well, and I was going to move my camera because I wanted to show you all here the other quilt here on the side wall, because the other part of the announcements that I just realized I forgot to get to is, look folks, it is all but there. So these 2 border strips I will be stitching on to the body of the quilt. All the pieces are put in place, and then the strips we are going to sew together here in a few minutes, and why I brought the camera over is the last 2 strips that go on the other side. So the whole English paper piecing by machine project is done. I'm pretty convinced it's going to turn out awesome. I still need to quilt it before we can put the stamp of approval that this new method for using an interfacing. So let's go to the overhead camera real quick in case you haven't seen any of this. I do have a couple videos out there, but this one I've been using interfacing. It is a feather weight to lightweight interfacing that is fusible. The dots are facing up, or the glue is facing up, so that I can iron over my edges so they hold themselves in place. And then I'm doing some real micro top stitching basically, or I keep saying it top stitching, but I'm just doing my piecing where I'm taking, I'm still going right sides together like a standardized quilt, but I am truly just, and let's get back to this for a few more seams, folks. So if you have any questions on the mystery quilt along, if you have any questions on the virtual retreat or anything we've talked about today, feel free to type them in the bottom. So I'll go ahead and do a little bit of sewing here so you can see what we were talking about if you're just tuning in, and what we were doing at the beginning of the video. And then I'll do a comments and questions check, and then we'll get on with the rest of our day. Carl, it's almost time for some coffee, don't you think, buddy? Okay, so I'm just, oh, and I am doing back stitching. I am lock stitching at the beginning and the end and using a thread cutter. That's that loud bang noise you hear. It's the thread cutter on this machine. And so anyways, now what I do is I'm just going to fold the edges to line those up, and it kind of creates a fold across the center of the previous. And then I'm just lining those up. So this is kind of like doing the Y seam, but you're just doing one leg of the Y at a time. And the reason I'm doing the back stitching is I'm going to get a little bit rowdy in there. And then look at that foot I've got, folks. Let me see if I can even zoom in a little bit on this foot. So look at how narrow that is, and my needle's just right near the edge. So when I get to this corner, I'm just going to back stitch. And then if I pull this out, I mean, look at that. It's just, it's sloppy, as I promised, but it is right along the edge. Really cool. Flip it over, check. And so, of course, I'm using 2 colors of threads, real easy. Kevin, that's one of my personal choices, is 2 colors of threads at all times. So I always can tell what's going on with my projects until it gets into the quilting, and then we match them back up. Okay, again, just going to lower that right there. Little back stitch to set that seam. And on we go like that all the way through. And that's it, folks. I've really just got now just those last 4 hexagons to stitch together. Then I'll put this row on that side and that row on that side. And I'm pretty sure, now I haven't gotten the approval, but I want to do something we're going to call Free Motion February. I have many quilt tops that need to be free motioned. I have the Arabella block of the month that I want to free motion on a giant long arm, because that thing I think is 108 by 108. And then I have another quilt top. I have the Epic quilt top, which is a block of the month that starts in January. I have this quilt top that I'm super excited about, and by the time February rolls around, I'm going to go back and do a square and a square scrappy quilt. Oh my goodness, the visions I'm having of this in my head are super exciting, especially because then I can start to add in some of my newer colors of the newest world fabrics. So it can be like this, where it's basically a fabric line centered quilt, but it's going to have a scrappy feel to it, because even in this project, even though it looks like it's symmetrically laid out, I've done my best to have a few oddities in the color. The colors are the same, but they're just slightly off shades or whatnot. I used a charm pack that was kind of an off-color charm pack with single colors for the center, so that everything would be slightly different throughout the quilt. So it would have a harmony, but that scrappy feel that we would expect from a grandfather's flower garden project when it's all finished. So anyways, pretty excited about that. Okay, now let's answer some questions. Oh, of course you would ask this question, Nancy, because you love your HQ510. This is a foot that I was playing with and experimenting with also on that Burnett, the B08. It is a high shank. I believe it's referred to as an invisible zipper foot. It comes with a left hand and a right side, Nancy, and it's really cool. Let me see if I can go in and maybe get you a little bit better shot of the foot. There it is. See that cutout on the other side? And the nice thing about that is, look real closely, folks. This is a good lesson probably for all of us. You see how the left side of the foot is still hovering over the major set of feed dogs? That's why the fabric is traveling through so smooth, because you'll notice on the right hand side there is no contact from the foot and the feed dogs whatsoever. So there's no way for pressure to control that fabric going out. So I think that this is going to be, sorry, I was looking at Carl's comment about the coffee. This foot here is working beautiful. I had another foot that I was trying on the bag making with Deb that she liked better for up against her zippers and different things, but this is the one I'm really liking for myself. Okay, Mary, welcome. I'm glad you're here. You can always watch these videos recorded as soon as it's over with as well. I'm glad to see so many of you will be in Texas. It's going to be awesome. We are, like I said, having a retreat that is part of our New Year's Day sew-along. So folks, be aware, at Stitchin Heaven, we offer 2 styles of retreat. Teacher-led retreats, which are project-specific, And then we also have free sews, and those usually will have the name camp in front of them, like Camp Jingle Bells, Camp New Year's, Camp Quilt S'more, Camp Quilt Show. So those are where you can come and work on your own projects in our beautiful retreat center. And we still have all of the amenities, but you just aren't focused on a project and or being stopped constantly by a teacher like myself to try to talk on and on about different things. Let's see. I want to make sure I haven't missed anything. ACJ, I'm so glad you're out there. I hope your buffering is improved. Oh, what brand? So Nancy, I hate to say this, as far as the presser foot goes, they don't make one at Handy Quilter that I'm aware of. So therefore Amazon, and I just typed in high shank industrial strength zipper foot, and there's going to be a couple different choices out there. Nancy, you and I are pals. You have my direct contact info. Go ahead and send me any link before you make a purchase and I'll confirm for you. No problem. That's what we're here for. And eventually, folks, I'm going to try to get us to have these feet available at Stitchin Heaven, because, and maybe you could let me know. This is kind of us working together as a team. I would really like to make this available in more of a ready-made fashion for folks. So my thoughts right now, and please let me know if this would be interesting to any of you. What if I could provide the pre-cut fusible interfacing in a size, and then I could create a template that was big enough to make all the fabric requirements that you could then fussy cut any of your own fabrics with, right? So we would have that, and then we could get these zipper feet or these industrial feet for these high shank machines, and we could probably find something we would recommend, or a normal zipper foot for a low shank machine is often more I almost said more easy to find. But if you'd like to do more of this stuff, I've had a lot of folks in the comments say they've often wanted to try the English paper piecing, but would never do it by hand because, like me, they consider hand to be a 4-letter word. I understand the benefits of working with my hands. I just use them for other things. Like I said, the drawing, the tattooing, the knitting. And I like the machine. I like being around the needles. I like being around the heat of the irons and stuff. And so that's why I like quilting. So I didn't want to forego that, but I often know that there's many times and many places for us to do our crafts. So anyways, I hope that helps a little bit. Oh no, Krista, you're still on the wait list as well. My goodness, Betty, great to see you out there. This is going to be a fantastic week, folks. Don't forget, my last little PSA for the day is the holidays can be challenging on some of our friends and family, so make sure now that the big one is behind us, that we're continually checking in on our loved ones and making sure that as the new year rolls around, that we're all being, let's say, proactive and progressive and positive. Those are going to be the 3 P's for the new year I'm making up right now. And part of that, thank you, Sherry, for the time you spent with me today. I have a meeting first thing Monday morning with one of my accountability partners. And so anyways, we're going to kick off the new year before it even kicks into the new year. We see Monday as a great opportunity to get a head start for that. And so that's going to be awesome. So anyways, folks, it's going to be amazing. I am looking so forward to seeing all of you on the New Year's Day sew along. It'll be happening right here live on YouTube. Oh, it's going to be a blessing. We're going to have the comment feeds open. It's just going to be a hoot. I'm going to try to run a remote camera over to the retreat center so you can see all the crazies, including Carl and the rest of the folks that like to chat along. I think Patty's going to be there. Or excuse me, maybe Patty, it's the August when you just signed up before. But nonetheless, it's going to be awesome for us to go ahead and continue to share in that quilting community. So thank you for being here today, folks. I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate all of your support out there. As always, keep up the great work making stuff and making people smile. And thank